Okay, it's 10:30 Pacific time on Thursday, April the 30th. Welcome everyone. Time to get started. My name is Chris Neufeld, and I am the head of customer success here at Adacado. And today's webinar is going to just cover the basics on getting started with Adacado. So if you're maybe a first-time user or interested, found Adacado online and are interested in getting started to use Adacado for your advertising, this is going to be a perfect session for you to learn the basics. So our session today is going to be approximately 30 minutes, and what I will do is open up. I'm going to run through a couple slides and then go right into the platform and demonstrate everything for you. And then we'll cover questions and answers at the end. Everyone, I believe I've got everyone muted just so we don't have a lot of chatter, but you have the ability to enter in questions in the chat interface. So feel free to type in your questions there, and then we'll cover those at the end. Okay, so let's get started. Just as a little bit of an introduction and background on Adacado, we've been around for approximately 10 years, and Adacado is a dynamic creative advertising platform. So we work with advertisers and ad agencies to help them very quickly and easily build dynamic creative ads that really help to personalize the ad experience for users and provide better performance for the advertisers. And we also provide the advertising, the media buying component as well, which is something that's a little bit new for us, which we'll talk about today. So for the purposes of our demo today, what we're going to do is show you right from the very beginning of how to set up your account in Adacado, and then go through the steps of creating your first advertiser and building the campaign and taking it all the way through to launch. So what I'm going to do for the demo is I'm going to use Ahava, which is a skincare beauty brand, and I'm going to use that as my demo example, just kind of like an online e-commerce store. And just so you understand where we're headed towards, we're going to build some ads that look like exactly like this. So you'll see these dynamic display ads that are pulling all product data information in and targeting the right product to the right individual. So that's what we're going to be building. You'll see how easy this can be. Okay, so let's get things going. So to start off, I'm just going to the adacado.com website, and you'll notice right here we've got a couple of places that you can hit the button to get going, and I'll just hit on the start for free. It's going to put me onto an account page to sign up for my account. So I'm going to enter in my email, test3@mailinator.com, make a password, and click the sign up button. And what you'll see is it's giving me a confirmation that says, great, we've sent you a verification link to your email account. So of course we do that because we want to make sure that we're not just getting bots signing up into the platform. So if I were to go to my mail account, I would see this immediately, this email sitting in my inbox that says, click here to verify your account. So all I need to do is just click on that link, and I'll get a message saying my email has been verified, and I can go back here to log in. So let me just do it back on the screen here. Actually, I'll just move this over and kill that one. Okay, so now I'm going to log into the system using my account that I just set up, credentials, and click the sign in button. Perfect. And now I'm logged in. And the first thing that you'll see is we're going to ask you, and you've got this little check list right here in the middle here. Saying I've done the sign up, I've confirmed my email. Now we just need to complete a little bit of information about who I am. So I'm going to put in my details. My company name we'll say is Chris's agency, we'll call this. So it could be that you're creating this account for your ad agency, or maybe you're just a direct advertiser and you want to do this for your own business. That's great. Either way it works. Put in my address, 123 Street, and I'm in Canada, and I'm in British Columbia in the city of Vancouver, and I'll make up a postal code V7V7V7 and save and continue. Great. Now that process is out of the way. So my first step now is to get started with creating my advertiser. So we said that we were going to use Ahava as our demo example of creating a retail advertiser. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the advertiser Ahava demo, and I'm going to put in the website of the business. And the business type here is asking me to select from a few different drop downs. So I'm going to choose retail, which is kind of a catch-all for retail and e-commerce. You'll notice there's other verticals here, whether it's auto, real estate, travel, hotel. So there's other verticals that are available depending on the nature of your business. But I'm going to go with retail. And on the subcategory here, this is more beauty related, so I'm going to select beauty as my subcategory. Okay, now it's asking me for the address of the advertiser because it could be different than my own personal address of my agency. So I'm going to say that Ahava is in the United States, in Minnesota. Oops, in the United States. I've got Chrome that's trying to auto-populate things for me. Let me. Oh, there we go. Okay, United States. And I want to be in California. And we'll say the city of San Francisco. And we'll go with that. Oh, city, we'll go to Abbott. Okay, instead of that. So I'm going to save this, and now my advertiser information is done. So that's kind of the admin part of the setup process. Now we get into more of the fun part. So I am going to make my campaign, and I want this to be we'll make this more of a remarketing campaign. And you'll notice here it's asking me for the name, which I've typed in, and the objective of my campaign. So this is where I can select one of the options that outlines how my ads are going to be filled and populating the dynamic inventory within the ads themselves. So I might choose, for example, last viewed, which would show the ad to users that have been on my website and show them the product that they looked at or the last viewed products that they've looked at. Or maybe I want to go last viewed and others from the same category of, like, skin cream versus suntan lotion or that type of thing. Okay, so I'm going to use that selection, and you can always change these at any point. Now down below here, you will see that we have the media buying. How do you want to set up the media buy for your campaign? So you'll notice I have a number of controls here that I can adjust in terms of what days of the week that I want to purchase ads and have my ads running. I can select, the volume of ads that I want at a time. And you'll see that over of the table, it's telling me what my daily spend estimate is going to be. So this gives me a good idea of what my what my budget is going to be, or how much I'm going to spend, and then I can adjust that according to what my budget might be. So these are your time and day controls. We also have some other controls that you can define in terms of geolocation. So I want to advertise, for example, only in the United States. I'm not going to narrow it down to specific states, but I could, if I wish to, narrow it down to a particular state or city or something like that. But I'm just going to leave it open to only run in the United States. We also have other things where I can narrow down the audience. If, for example, I wanted to focus, if I was a footwear advertiser, I might choose something like that, or pets, or fashion, or any of the number of different categories that might be applicable to my particular vertical. But I'm going to leave that to kind of cover all the bases. And I'll also leave the devices, because if I wanted to, I could alter the media buying to only purchase ads for Windows users or Mac users or people on different browsers. But I'm going to leave all that, with the exception of just ensuring that my ads are only shown for English users. So I'm going to make that choice. Okay, so if I'm happy with all those settings, I'm going to scroll up to the top and right over here and hit my save and continue. And you'll notice that up here I have a little indicator that outlines the 4 steps of the campaign setup process. So I've just done the setup. I'm going to save and continue. And now it's going to put me over into the next stage, which is the products. So it's asking me, how do I want to get the product data, and do I want to do it at the advertiser or the campaign level? I'm just going to select the campaign level. That's kind of the easiest. And how do we want to get the data? So it could be that it's my data feed is hosted on an FTP server, in which case it would just be populating the account credentials to get to that. Or maybe it's just on a hosted location, like in a Google Sheet. And that's exactly the scenario I'm going to show you here. So in this example, we're using an inventory data feed that happens to live on a Google Sheet. You can see it's got things like the product ID and the product titles and categories, image links and product links, all that type of stuff. So I am going to just copy that URL and paste it into this field here and fetch the sample. And you'll see it pulls in all this data and asks me how is it organized, and it's comma delimited because that's the most common scenario. And now I've got all these little blue boxes, and these represent all the different attributes that are in our database. And you'll notice that it also has mapped all of these to the actual data feed. So this table you see down here is a representation of the data feed that I just of that Google Sheet that I just pulled in and sampled into the system. And our system automatically mapped the right fields, like the product ID to product ID, title to title, price to price, etc. And if, for example, there was something that maybe was mistaken or you don't want to include, very easy to just click on that, hit the little delete. It's really just drag and drop. It's super easy to do that. The system, you'll find, almost always gets it correct and maps everything for you. But if you do need to make those changes, it's very easy to do there. And then the last thing is just a schedule. I'm going to leave this running every day, and we've got it set at 5:15. I'm just going to make that 3:15 a.m. because my data feed updates really early in the morning, and that's when I need to schedule with the update. So if I'm happy with that, I'm going to save and continue. And now we get to more of the fun part, which is the creative design, which is where we get to choose the look and feel of the ads. So you'll see here we have a wide selection of preset themes that are already in the theme gallery. And because I chose retail as my advertiser vertical, I'm seeing more retail-specific themes. Had I chosen something like, for example, auto or real estate, I would, of course, see themes that are more relevant to the industry that I had chosen. But in my case, we chose retail, so we're going to say with the retail themes. And if I scroll down, and you'll notice there's little icons here. If you click on the eye icon, you get a pop-up that displays not only the different sizes, so you can see what they look like in the different ranges, and it also describes the product assets that are dynamic within this particular theme set. So I'm going to click and save on this Modena because I like the look of that one. And it's just going through a little process there, and here we go. Perfect. So here we have our Medina theme, and you can see it's already pulled in my product data from the data feed that I just uploaded. So I've got my images and my product titles and price values, etc. But of course, it still has this placeholder asset of the Modena logo, which I want to replace with my own logo with the Ahava. So I'm just going to click on the company logo asset and upload my logo. There we go. Now I've got my logo nicely populated into the theme. And you'll notice you can make some other adjustments on the text assets here on the left. I might want to make an adjustment on the CTA button. Instead of saying buy now, I want to have it say shop now. And we've got Mother's Day coming up. So let's just say it's a Mother's Day sale. We'll call it 40% off. And you'll see that it immediately changes that in the theme. So if I'm happy with everything I see there, I can go to the Save All and Continue, and that's it. I've pretty much completed the process. I've built my campaign. The only thing I have to do now is to turn it on. You'll see I'm on the Publish page, but it's giving me this this congratulations pop up, and it's asking me to turn it on. Now, if I go to turn it on, you'll notice I cannot do this because I haven't put in payment information. So I need to set up the payment information in my account because I haven't done that yet. Now, you may have noticed in the system on our, first of all, on our web page, we have an offer of $300 of free advertising for any user that wants to get started with Adacado. And you'll see that this is visible right up here in my header, telling me that I have a $300 credit. So that's fantastic. But in order to take advantage of this, I do need to put in a credit card so that our system has that on file. And I'm going to type in 450000. I'm actually going to just kind of illustrate this quickly, but I'm not going to put in a real number. As you can see, that's an invalid number because I don't want to put in my real credit card on a live webinar, but you get the idea. You simply populate in the credit card information, put in the billing address if it happens to be different than the address that I've already input into the system, and then you just add that payment information. And once you do that, we now have the card in place on your account, everything's activated, and then you can go back to your advertiser and turn that on so that we can launch the campaign. So for my demo account here, I'm not actually, as I said, going to put in a real credit card, but what I will do is just log out of this one and log into a different account that I already have, where I have a card on file. And here we are. Okay, so now I'm into my other account where I actually have a credit card on file, and I'm on the campaign dashboard, if you will. So you'll see I had a similar Ahava demo advertiser that I'd set up. I have this campaign. Now I actually had another one in this account that was an old one, which I've turned off. And this is just simply turning the toggle on and off on activating your campaign. So when I was going through the process and we completed the build, we ended up on what was called the publish page, and you would have seen there's a couple things on there. One is the preview page, and so if I click on that link, this is really a link to the live ads as they would be displayed out in the wild once the campaign goes live and you're trafficking it out on the programmatic exchanges. So you'll notice that this is exactly like the preview that I showed you at the beginning of the webinar in terms of creating the account. So it's really that simple. That's what my live preview is. So that's something that you can share if you happen to be an agency. You can share that with your advertisers so that they can see and approve. Sometimes if that's a requirement, approve the creative before it goes live. And then we also have the pixel code. So if this is going to be a remarketing campaign, then this Adacado pixel will need to be placed onto the advertiser's product pages so that Adacado can capture that information and identify what was the product that the user was looking at when they were on your site. So that's what allows us to personalize that creative for the individuals that are seeing the ads. Okay, so that was pretty quick run through of creating our account and an advertiser, and then building our campaign and seeing the finished product. So if I go back to the campaign dashboard, you'll see I've got the listing of campaigns that I might have running. I can at any point jump to different settings if I wanted to make an adjustment to my ad logic. Maybe I want to go to most viewed or last viewed, or last viewed and gender, whatever the case may be. Any changes that I make are immediately saved into the platform, into the campaign. So I can navigate through here. If I wanted to go to the creative and maybe make a change to my promotion, instead of it being it's now 50% off on Mother's Day, whatever the case may be. But the point is that any changes that I make are immediately applied to the creative, and you'll see 50% off Mother's Day. If I come back here and refresh on my live ads on the preview page, you'll see that it's applied. Oh, hang on, that was probably the wrong. I've got a couple of those preview pages going on. Make sure I've got the right one displayed. No, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Let me come to publish, preview. I'm jumping around between too many windows, clearly. Which one is this? Let me turn that off. Come back to here. This is my campaign. Oh, I'm in the old one. My mistake. That campaign's off. I should have done this in the other one, and that's on. If I turn on the old one, maybe now I'll see it. Anyways, you get the idea. Apologies for the confusion on that one. Too many campaigns going there. Okay, so we covered off the creation, editing, moving around within the different interface. One thing to also identify up here, we have you'll notice there's a blue navigation element and a green one. The blue is at the advertiser level, so if I have multiple advertisers, I can see those here. I can go to an all advertisers list and then scroll through to find that. I can also create a new advertiser if I wanted to, and that's just going to initiate that process that we already went through and demonstrated. So that's where I can create new ones, or I can go into the settings. And if, for example, I was finished with this advertiser and now I want to disable it, I can just click that and disable the advertiser, and that will effectively turn off the advertiser. So that's all the advertiser controls. And then similarly, on the campaign level, for whatever advertiser I may have selected, this is where I can make those adjustments and go to the different campaigns that I've created in the system for that particular advertiser. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to just check in on the chat session and see if there's any questions that folks have. And okay, so I see the first question is, do I have to use Adacado's media? I'm an agency and I do my own buying. Okay, great question. So the answer is no. When you create the account, that is kind of the default setting. Let me come back to, oops, not Google News. I want to go to my advertiser. So if I go to, let's go to my campaign dashboard. So I'm going to turn off that old one that I had, and I'm going to go to the demo one that we were setting up, that we set up. And in the settings section where I defined the logic and gave it a name, we also have this toggle button here, which is where we turn on or off the media buying settings for the campaign. So if you are coming in and you don't have a media agency and you want to do that media buying on your own, great, leveraging Adacado's platform, wonderful, that's available right there. But if you do have a media solution in place already and you want to just get the, use Adacado for the creative, not a problem. You just simply turn that off. And then at the end of the process, you just take the ad tags and traffic them like you normally would with any other creative. Okay. Let me, hopefully that answers that question. Okay, yeah, good. Glad it does. How can I do A/B testing? Okay, that's another great question. Let me show you. Actually, this is really quite cool. I'm going to go to the creative section, and you'll notice when I went through the process the first time, I chose the Modena theme. Over on the right-hand side here, we have this Add Theme button, and if I do that, click on it, it puts me back into the theme library. And I'm going to, let's just say I wanted to test two different variations. I wanted to test the Artigo theme and the Modena theme because I like them both, but I'm not sure which one's going to perform better. So I can make that selection, and it's just going to save this theme set into my campaign. And here we go. I've got the Artigo theme. I just need to, again, upload my logo, which I will do here. And I've got my logo into the Artigo theme. And I think I had shop now on the Modena. So let's leave buy now on the Artigo theme. And you'll see this now appears over here. So I'm going to hit save all. And you'll notice the other thing is we have dates that are associated with the different themes. So I might be, if I wanted to schedule it, so the Modena ran for 1 week and then it switches over on a certain date, and then the whole campaign switches over to the Artigo campaign at a different time, or at a designated time, we can do that. Or we can just make it run concurrently where it's live today, and I save that, and it's going to run through. So now I've got basically both of these themes live at the same time. So I've saved this. If I go back to my publish area and I look at my preview page, you'll see now I have both of these themes active within the campaign. And here's the Artigo. It's loading up. There we go. And so I have both the Artigo and the Modena. And so what's going to happen is that the system is going to automatically test between the two and ultimately optimize on the performance and run those two. Now you could also do this. You can add multiple themes. As I said, you can do scheduling, and you can see just how easy it was to swap that out. And at any point, if I wanted to make an adjustment and maybe choose a different theme, I can just simply go in and delete that Artigo. Boom, it's gone. I could go in and choose another one and go through that process again. So it's just that easy. Okay, so hopefully that answered the question. Another question, can you talk about reporting? Yes, good one. So let me show you, if I go back to my campaign dashboard, which you can do by just clicking on the logo, it's going to take you to your campaign dashboard view where you can see all your campaigns under that advertiser. You'll notice over here we showed you the editing capabilities. We can also look at the analytics. So if I click on the analytics tab, what that does is it opens up this view, this dashboard, which provides a real-time view of what's happening in the campaign. Now, of course, this isn't actually up and running and live, so I don't have any data to display. but this is where you would see, how many products have been viewed in my campaign, clicks, your CTR percentage, etc. Even things like site visits, which is referring to pixel fires. So if you had the Adacado remarketing pixel on your page, you would see how frequently was that firing on the site. So you can look at this in kind of the last hour or 24 hours, or looking back, that's your windows that are available. So there's that view there, kind of the quick dashboard. Additionally, if you come up to the account up here on the far right and you go to reports, there's a separate reporting section that allows you to download, and you'll see here there are 3 different reports that are available. There's a theme performance report, which will show you, for example, in that A/B testing scenario we just talked about, this would identify the actual performance broken up by the different themes that I have running in a campaign. Product performance is going to provide that level of deep analysis that shows me, which products actually showed up in the ads and which product is performing the best. So, and then format is by ad size. So it's really just a matter of choosing the report that you want, defining the time range, and then all the available advertisers in your account are going to be listed here. And if I just click on the name, it's just going to download a CSV file, and there's my report right there that I can open and then get into all those details. So those are the reporting options, and that is downloadable here. We also have a reporting API for those that are super technical and wanted to do a more thorough integration for kind of automated report downloads. That's available as well. Okay, I think we've got time for maybe one last question. Just reading this. Okay, good. Yep. So the question is, how long do I have to use my $300 credit? So I'm in my old account, so which is why I see the 0 balance. But let me just log out and not there. And if I log into the account that I had started with, which was ChrisTest3 at mailinator.com. I log back in here. So here you'll see this is the account that I just created today, and I have this $300 credit. So what you'll find is the credit amount is always going to be displayed here, so you'll very easily be able to see how much of the credit is remaining. And you've got visibility. You also receive a daily email that will tell you how much of your spend, how much you've used up of the credit. Now, in terms of the duration, the campaign, the $300 credit is available within the first 30 days of your account creation. So as I said, there will be a daily email to inform you on how you're tracking and how many days you have left. And then after that, once you've used up your $300 credit, anything that you use beyond that will just be chargeable to your credit card that you have on the system. So you've got 30 days to use your $300 credit. Okay, I think that's about all the time we have for questions. We're just coming right up to the end. So what I'm going to do is just recap where to go. If you come to adacado.com, you'll find not only information about the $300, but you can very easily click to get started, or if you're already an existing user, to log into the system. And then you'll also find other resources like our support page that has lots of great information and video tutorials about using the system and how to do different things, as well as something new that we added, which is what you're participating in, is the webinars. And there's going to be other topics coming up in the coming weeks on. We've got already how to edit themes for people that are a little bit more experienced, and we'll be adding more on different topics like deeper dives into data feeds and that type of thing. So stay tuned for more stuff coming on the webinar schedule. And I thank you all for joining today's session. So I'm going to sign off now. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.